All right, welcome to those that are joining us. We got some folks joining us here. We're so excited to have this info session today. We're excited to kick off Ethics of AI and our AI Professional Education program. So we'll hold on another minute or two and then get started. This session will be recorded for anybody else that, whether you have the information now or want the information later. So that will, yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. My name is Regina Rodriguez. I have the honor and exciting privilege to welcome Dr. Elizabeth Palmer, who is the instructor for Ethics of AI this upcoming cohort. I wanted to start by sharing a little bit about the program itself and what we are doing here at UF. With respect to artificial intelligence and really focusing on the workforce and industry professionals. So I'll walk through a couple of slides here and explain the program, and then we'll have Dr. Palmer join us in explaining a little bit about what it is to come over the next 4 to 5 weeks in the hybrid course that we'll be launching starting next week. So as we walk through this, don't hesitate to use the chat feature or unmute yourself and ask us questions. This is as much for you as it can be. We want to make sure that as you are interested in joining the ethics course or being part of any of the AI programs that we're offering here at the University of Florida, that we can answer as many of your questions as the program is very exciting. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. Like I mentioned, we at the University of Florida have integrated artificial intelligence in just about across all of our curriculum. So the students that are coming into the University of Florida and conducting their undergrad degree will be able to add any artificial intelligence curriculum to their bachelor's and undergraduate degree. And that's really to be able to shape the new workforce. And as you are going out into your career, how can you leverage the artificial intelligence that you're learning here at the University of Florida? The university has received this great gift from NVIDIA and its founder, Chris Milikowski. It has one of the largest supercomputers here in the state of Florida and across the United States, and being able to leverage that to not only educate our students, but educate the workforce. The University of Florida has hired many new faculty across all of these different departments and colleges to continue doing research across the curriculum. So what we wanted to do here with the professional development courses was take some of the courses that are being taught by university professors like Dr. Palmer, who is here today, and being able to showcase those in a hybrid and online format for professionals in the workforce. And as we're looking to do so, the short courses are going to be offered in both hybrid and an asynchronous content. We first started by developing 7 short courses last year and converting those into online programs, and started delivering them about September of last year, and have built several cohorts of different short courses. So the courses are available to really anybody in the workforce interested in learning more about AI. You don't have to be a UF student or a UF alumni or even affiliated with the University of Florida to take any of these courses. Like I mentioned, they are developed by the same faculty that are conducting research and are teaching short courses or regular full-size 4-credit courses here at the University of Florida. And these first 7 courses were a collaboration from 4 different colleges: College of Business, College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and some of the fundamentals coming out of engineering. So you'll see some of these short courses with different topics. The short courses were delivered in various modalities to really accommodate as many of our learners as possible. So if you only had a couple of hours that you can spend and wanted to get some information about artificial intelligence, you can take one of the 1-hour courses at your own time, and you can walk through those in a very concise time frame. We also developed a 4-hour and a 15-hour. For those that wanted to gain a little bit more information and have more hands-on activities, the 4-hour is asynchronous, and the 15-hour is the one that we're talking about here, which is scheduled throughout the year, and we'll be starting one of those here in the next week with Dr. Palmer. The hybrid course 15-hour has 8 hours of live synchronous interactions. So just like we're here, you're on Zoom, we're on Zoom, we're recording this, and you can watch it on the back end as well, but you'll have the ability to work with Dr. Palmer and walk through some of these AI principles at your convenience. The rest of the hours as part of the 15 hours will be based off of assignments and group projects that we'll walk through here when Dr. Palmer starts to review the course. And there'll be additional readings and external resources that we can leverage here. So with respect to these different modalities, the 1-hour course is asynchronous. Any of you can take it for free. I think those that are registered, most of you have already gotten access to some of those, and you can walk through it at your own time. The 4-hour, because there are assignments as part of it, we can offer a certificate of completion, and you can earn 0.4 CEUs or continuing education units. In the 15-hour, you'll be able to qualify for micro-credential and earn a badge. So we'll talk a little bit about the micro-credential here in a second and what that means to your professional development. The course here that we are showcasing today is Ethics of AI. We have several other courses launching throughout the fall, and would love to tell you a little bit more about those here at the end of this discussion. So what is a micro-credential? We've taken some of the 15-hour courses and combined them. So it's really a short form of professional development option. It's not a it's not a degree, it's not a certificate itself in terms of an academic bearing certificate, but it shows individuals with a time efficient and affordable options to develop an understanding of a new skill, and given this continuing education on a specific subject. So it satisfies, typically looks to satisfy something that's missing within your workforce. And as we work with employers, letting them know that, hey, now I have this micro-credential and I am a little bit more savvy or have taken this initiative to learn a little bit more about this specific subject area. It's a great tool for employers wanting to provide upskilling opportunities specifically for their employees. So the way that we designed this AI program was specifically to be able to stack these short courses into a micro-credential. So like I mentioned, there's 7 courses right now available. There's several more in development with the College of Medicine and the College of Law. But these short courses you can take at any time to gain a new skill. You can take as many as you want or as little as you want. But if you take several, at least 3 of the short courses together, and we'll talk about the foundation courses versus an application course, you can stack them together to earn this micro-credential. So the way that we developed the AI coursework was specifically to look at what are these foundation courses for somebody that doesn't have any background or any understanding on artificial intelligence or machine learning or data science. What is it that will at least get them an understanding with hands-on approach? So Ethics of AI, the course that we are launching next week, Fundamentals of AI, and then Fundamentals of AI for STEM learners. So one of these short courses, in addition, so the ethics, in addition to one of the fundamental courses, and the third course will come from a focus area or a focus application area. 3 courses total can allow you to earn that micro-credential. The focus area applications, like we talked about, in partnership with these different colleges, agricultural and life sciences, applied data science, business, and engineering. These are all focus areas where we're looking at the application of artificial intelligence in business or in engineering, where there are so many different potential uses and potential opportunities as well. So when you enroll in a 15-hour course, this is what the internal piece of the course is. This is showcasing that you will see some key objectives. You'll have a little bit about your instructor in terms of who is teaching this course. This specific program is for the fundamentals of AI coursework. And again, here you'll be able to see what is going to entail in the course. The internal part of the Canvas. So once you register for the course, you'll be added to the Canvas site. For those of you that already have access to the 1 and the 4-hour courses, very similar setup here as well. You'll be able to have the syllabus, learn a little bit about your instructor, and then have 6 different modules here as you progress through the 4 weeks of class. Last but not least, how do you register? So here specifically, very simple payment and enrollment. So there isn't an application like we would typically see for a degree seeking student or a 4-credit option. You would go on to pwd.aa.ufl.edu/AI. I think some of you have already been on there. If you are part of this webinar, that's where you registered for this info session. And you would look at each of these available packages. You would select the 15-hour course and register for the course. I think the registration, we have a lot of support on the back end. So if you do have any issues, we can provide that support on the registration. As soon as you register, you will get access to the previous Canvas shell. And at that point, you'll be able to interact with Dr. Palmer on the Canvas shell. So with that, I will now share my screens for Dr. Palmer. And then once Dr. Palmer goes through, we will have a Q&A on both of these pieces. I think I'm sharing the slides on the wrong screen.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Palmer, and I'm in the Department of Philosophy. Several of my colleagues and I designed the Ethics of AI Professional Development suite of courses for UF, and I taught the inaugural 15-hour Ethics of AI course last fall. I'm so pleased that you enjoyed our shorter courses and are interested in taking the 15-hour Ethics of AI course as well. So let me tell you how the 15-hour Ethics of AI course goes. So Regina, if you'd go to the next slide, please. The class runs 8 weeks, beginning August 15th and ending October 7th, with the first 6 weeks involving relatively steady engagement and the last 2 weeks involving significantly less. So for the first the first 6 weeks, this is August 15th through September 23rd, we're going to just work through material. So we're going to do readings. There are asynchronous recorded lectures from experts in the field of AI ethics and some assignments that I'll discuss in a moment. Best of all, we'll have 6 live weekly sessions, which provide the opportunity in real time to ask questions, to discuss ideas, and to benefit from one another's perspective. So I imagine that all of us are going to be coming from different places, different places of work, different backgrounds. And this gives us a great opportunity to collaborate with others with different backgrounds and get different kinds of information and take into account different kinds of considerations. So essentially, during these live weekly sessions, we get to have a conversation about some of the ethical issues surrounding AI use and development, and we get to learn from one another. And don't worry if you can't attend all sessions. They're going to be recorded and available to all learners via Canvas. So let me now speak about the assignments. So Regina, if you go to the next slide. So there are 2 types, case analyses and a final project. So in the case analyses, you're going to explain and apply some central ethical concepts to various AI systems. So we're going to talk about Northpoint's Compass and Amazon's Alexa, and we're going to propose solutions to ethical concerns arising from the use and design of such systems. So learners will complete and submit 3 case analyses, and this will be in modules 2, 3, and 4. These are designed to help you refine your understanding of the relevant ethical concepts and how they apply to various AI systems, with attention to the ethical concerns that arise from the use or design of those systems. The case analyses will also help you think through potential ways of resolving or mitigating those ethical worries. So the hope is that by thinking about these things on the front end a little bit, then when we're faced with them, we're better able to anticipate potential ethical concerns and resolve them before they become problematic. So, and don't worry, these aren't very long. They're only about 300 words or so. For the final project, this is a presentation where you formulate, present, and defend a set of ethical principles that you think should govern AI design and use. And after you present your framework, this is going to be followed by a short Q&A. Now, the presentations, including the Q&A, will take no more than 30 minutes, so they're not very long. And the idea behind these is that your final presentation and the work you do to prepare for it will help cement your understanding of the ethical concepts we've discussed, as well as your understanding of the ethical concerns that arise in specific cases. It'll also help you think through how best to resolve such ethical concerns, or better yet, to avoid them altogether. So essentially, what you'll be doing is designing an ethical framework that you think best applies and that you can then use when considering how best to design or implement an AI system. You have the final 2 weeks of the course to work on and present your final projects. We won't be meeting during that time, although of course I'm available. And there aren't any further readings or lectures. And essentially, once you're present, you're done. Of course, you're welcome and encouraged to attend as many of your fellow learners' presentations as you like. Regina, could you advance to the next slide, please? Now, I know that some of you have already taken the 1-hour course, A Brief Introduction to the Ethics of AI, and others have taken the 4-hour course, Introduction to the Ethics of AI. The 1-hour course is, of course, quite different than the 15-hour Ethics of AI, and we've already heard about some very substantive differences. There are also significant differences between the 4-hour Introduction to the Ethics of AI and the 15-hour Ethics of AI, which begins August 15th. But they're similar in important respects too. It's important to know at the outset that some of the material in the 15-hour course overlaps with some of the material you've already worked through in the 4-hour course. So the asynchronous videos are the same, as are some of the readings, not all. So why take the 15-hour course? Why take Ethics of AI? Well, obviously, there are the additional CEUs and the badge, as well as the potential for micro-credentialing. But more importantly, because the 15-hour course, the Ethics of AI, is more substantive and offers much more than do the others. So you'll have more time and opportunity to think about complicated issues. As you know, the ethical issues arising from AI applications are rich and complex. I'm sure you've sensed on several occasions that we've only scratched the surface in the 1-hour or the 4-hour courses. And if you've had this sense, you're exactly right. We need to do more to get a stronger grasp on the ethical issues and the context in which they arise. Learners in the 15-hour course have the opportunity to dedicate more time and thought to these issues. And the more time we have to think critically about these things, the better position we are to anticipate, avoid, and resolve ethical difficulties arising from AI applications and their use. There are also more extensive readings. So if you took the 1-hour course, there are no readings. If you took the 4-hour course, there were some. And as I noted, those of you who took the 4-hour course will find that some of the readings overlap. That said, you'll be assigned new readings, and you'll also have access to new additional supplementary material. And these readings will give you a better understanding of the issues. Moreover, the 15-hour course offers comprehensive activities reinforcing relevant ethical concepts that further refine one's ability to critically identify and engage with the ethical issues surrounding AI applications. So instead of doing online automated quizzes or watching asynchronous videos, you're also going to do the case analyses and a final project that motivate you to think deeply and carefully about the issues. And you'll get feedback on those assignments. And finally, there are the live weekly sessions, which are extremely stimulating and lots of fun. Truthfully, I had more fun teaching the first ethics of AI class than I've had teaching in a long, long time. It was great. It was, again, people from so many different backgrounds that had such different perspectives. And, the feedback I've gotten is that the learners learned a lot, but I did too. It's fantastic. So we get to hear new ideas and new ways of looking at things, and we have a forum to test out our own ideas and to get feedback. This conversation about the ethics of AI, this ability to hear from others with different backgrounds and views, will help us to better understand what's at stake and how best to anticipate and respond. So I hope to see you in the ethics of AI.
Thank you, Dr. Palmer. I can definitely attest that I sat in on all of the lectures and we had so much discussion and the ability to have those interactions. It's a little bit different than the more technical courses. And I think why we made this course a key principle for the micro-credential, because one of the key things that we are learning as we are scared or have this negative connotation about artificial intelligence, that this is what the main goal for the program is trying to do, educate and have these different terms addressed and getting the ethics behind it. It's so important. So I definitely appreciate your feedback, Dr. Palmer, and your presentation. With that, I'll open it up to any questions, whether it's on the chat or directly to the micro-credential or specifically on the class. Come here.
Hey, Regina, it's Dana.
Hi, Dana.
Hi, I might have missed this, but if I take the 4-hour course for Intro to the Ethics of AI, do any of those course credits, can those go towards the ethics of AI, or that's a totally separate track?
So the 4-hour course is a standalone course. So you can complete that and get the certificate of completion and the 0.4 CEUs. The 15-hour course, you will get a whole nother certificate as you complete that course. But like Dr. Palmer was mentioning, there is a little bit of overlap with respect to some of the course readings. And when you complete the 15-hour course, that main process or discussions will be based on the 1.5 CEUs that you then receive for the 15-hour course.
Okay.
It's almost like you're prepped. You're better prepared for the 15-hour course.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That kind of goes to my question. I was going to ask if you recommended the 1 hour or the 4 hour as not necessarily prerequisites, but would you recommend taking them prior to the longer one?
I can answer.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Regina, do you want to?
No, go ahead, Dr. Palmer.
So the 1 hour is very, very brief. I mean, it's very much an overview where we don't have the opportunity to get into depth. We do a little more with the 4 hour, but either way, they're both geared, all of them are really geared to people that don't have a lot of expertise. Now, if you know a lot about AI, then that's great. We can jump right in and focus on the ethics, but the 15-hour as well as the 4 hour both include introductory material about what AI and machine learning are. So I think you would be fine taking the 15-hour course standalone. The only thing I might say is it might be useful to go through at least the what is machine learning aspect of the 1 hour as background, because that's a little more in depth than what we will go into.
Good, thank you.
One of the questions from the chat, does the 15-hour course cover the interaction of AI and internet accessibility issues like audio description and other accommodations for blind people?
Unfortunately, no. When we talk a little bit about bias, but in fact, one of the modules is dedicated to concerns about bias and discrimination. But it has more to do with things like hiring practices, discrimination in the judicial system and that sort of thing. So it's I'd say probably broader strokes than the, talking specifically about internet accessibility. In fact, we don't really talk about that at all, except to, discuss about how access does make a difference, but it's small. I mean, it's not at all a large part.
Yeah. And just to further that answer, the one course that does offer some content or a little bit more details on Internet of Things and accessibility and actual implementation of AI into that arena is part of the engineering short course, the 15-hour short course for engineering, where it does have a couple of details surrounding, it has a whole module around Internet of Things, if you were interested in that section.
And it might be worth noting too, I'm a bit remiss for not discussing some of the topics we're going to be discussing in the 15-hour. So, we have an introductory module, just kind of about technology, what AI is, that sort of thing. The second module concerns bias and discrimination. We also talk about privacy. We talk about responsibility, and there's one that I am failing to recall at the moment, which I feel quite silly about. Let's see. It is transparency, explicability, opacity, transparency, and trust. So the first one is, as I said, introduction. The second, bias, fairness, and discrimination. The third, explicability, opacity, transparency, and trust. The fourth is privacy. And the fifth is responsibility. And then the sixth module is no new content, but it's where you're working towards your presentation for the final project.
Great. Any other questions for Dr. Palmer? Any issues with registration or excitement about the new course?
Hi, this is Suzanne Israel. I am a Teams employee and was wondering about the possibility of auditing courses. Are these courses auditable to your knowledge? Or is that in the scope of this conversation?
You mentioned you were a Teams employee.
I am on staff for the university.
At the university, yeah. So the courses are not auditable from the perspective of just having somebody sit in and not go through the work from that perspective. I think if we're engaging in that process, we want to make sure that we have the learner going through the content. The 4-hour course, which has the asynchronous content, is available to the University of Florida faculty and staff at no cost. And I would be happy to share that information if you don't already have it, Suzanne, specifically for any of the 4-hour courses across all 7 short courses. The 15-hour course, I think you can work, what we have advised you, faculty and staff, is to work with their human resources manager in terms of the ability to get the course compensated or
Reimbursed.
reimbursed from the perspective of professional development. And we do have a couple of resources that we can share with you if that were of interest.
Yeah, that's all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Great. So one of the questions was, is this program recommended for current students? I am currently an undergrad. What is the difference between this program from courses for current enrolled students? So great question. So when we first started, I know you came in late, I talked a little bit about how the University of Florida is developing artificial intelligence programs across the entire curriculum for undergraduate students and graduate students as well, that you can take across as you're going and pursuing your undergraduate. For example, Fundamentals of AI is a course that is available out of the College of Engineering, and any student can take it. There's a couple of other courses in the College of Business and the College of Liberal Arts that are specifically artificial intelligence based. The combination of some of those courses can earn you a certificate as you graduate with your undergraduate degree. What I can say about the courses that we are talking about today in professional development, these you will earn credentials, so continuing education units or a badge or a certificate. They're typically geared specifically for those industry professionals that are already in the workforce and are looking for a short, kind of concise method of learning. Very different than from a 16-week assignments every other week, exams, final exams, midterm exams, etc. So we're looking for that different type of online learning. What I can say specifically for undergraduates is that the 1-hour course, you can register for all 7 of the 1-hour courses and walk through if you wanted to gain kind of like that initial snippet for each of the courses that have been developed. And then from there, try to understand where you want to continue on with your educational framework. The 4 and the 15-hour courses won't get you any 4-credit. It won't get you any credits for your undergrad curriculum. If you wanted to pay for it in addition to your courses, I am not going to discourage you from that, because I think that will be a great addition to your understanding, but it won't count towards your undergrad degree. I think we got a couple of folks joining us. If you have any questions, we've walked through a couple of the slides, and Dr. Palmer has introduced some of the course as well. If you are joining us a little bit later, missed some of the previous half of the seminar, we will share these presentations with you. It is being recorded, so we'll share it with you as well. Don't hesitate to add any of your questions or comments in the chat. We'll be here for the next maybe 5-10 minutes and take some of your questions if you have any. If not, feel free to go on with your day and register for the course as you, by the end of the week is when we'll end up clearing out the course to start lectures next week. And I'm not sure if we mentioned this, Dr. Palmer, but the course is going to be, we're going to be holding it on Thursday mornings. So it'll be Thursday at 11 a.m.
I think it's 11:30.
11:30. Okay.
Right. And the first session and the last session are an hour. And then sessions 2, 3, 4, and 5 are an hour and a half. So from 11:30 to 1.
Okay. It's a great time to have your lunch and learn about ethical responsibilities in AI.
And of course, if you can't make the sessions, the live ones, you can always contact me via email and we can set up a Zoom meeting and chat. Happy to do that.
I think we had some really good questions.
Yeah.
We also have a bird in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Palmer is like out in nature.
I am. I decided that I did not want to be home because my children, this is their last day of summer. And I didn't want to go into the office as yet because that's going to be soon enough. So enjoying the beautiful Florida sunshine.
Yeah. At least it's not like 95 degrees today. So
Yes.
otherwise that would be unbearable. how are we able to get the recording for today's meeting? And love the birds chirping, David. David, we will be sharing to the same email that you received this link. We will be sending a recording link for the video that we're in the process of recording. I think that'll be either later this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning, you'll be able to get it. Great. Well, if there's no other questions, we will depart and we will see those that are joining us in lecture next Thursday. We're so excited.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Sounds
Oh,
good.
I think there's one more question that we missed. So we're not going to have guests, so to speak, but we do have experts in the field delivering the asynchronous lectures. So we have several people in the philosophy department who've done so. And hopefully when it comes time for the presentations, we were able to do this last year, and I expect that we'll be able to do it this year too. We were able to bring some of those speakers in, some of those, ethics of AI experts in for the final presentations, and they were able to ask questions and, nothing to be intimidated by. They're all very friendly. And they're excited about all of this, and they're really happy that people are showing the interest, but you get some interaction with them, which is extremely cool.
Yep. Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Palmer. Thank you all for participating in this info session. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know or reach out directly to either Dr. Palmer or myself.
Absolutely. Hope to hear
All
from
right.
you.
Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.